young men need to hear this message that I'm bringing you right now. If you're a guy right now, you're young, you're trying to figure your shit out as far as your money, as far as your career, or whatever form of service you're going to deliver to other human beings that's going to make you money and create the life that you want, you have to understand that no one's coming to save you, right? In the sense that everything that you want to get good at, everything that you want to master and really understand and really perfect as far as like your skill is going to have to be developed by you, right? And oftentimes we find this difficult, right? Because for most guys, I would assume you're either in college or you're in the workforce, right? I don't think a lot of you guys are unemployed. So the issue with work and school, right? Which, you know, there's nothing wrong realistically with working or going to college, right? Just depends on what you're majoring in. But it's the idea, right, that like these forms of work and the like college, the 4 years that you're going that will set you up for a job, right? Like you have to realize that most of the time, you know, people who go to college, right? Like if you're getting just a degree, or maybe if you're just working in a job, like most jobs and most degrees are dead ends, right? Like you go to your work, you go to your, oh shit, sorry, there's a bird. You know, you go to your 9 to 5, you go to school, right? Most of it's just like dead end, right? Like you're going to school to get it, like most people, right? 4-year degree, unless you're going for something else, but a 4-year degree, right? Not going to get you far, right? It might give you some competitive advantage as far as getting a job, but to actually like, you know, like specialize in something, like no, like the 4-year degree is just a piece of paper that might again give you a competitive advantage. Your job that you're working right now, for the most part, it may or may not have growth potential, but the thing is especially as a guy, you have to be competent to the degree that you can solve problems for other people, right? Like here's the difference I'm really trying to make clear to you guys. Like I think a lot of guys expect like that their ability to network and their ability to socialize and their ability to like sort of fit in, if you will, is going to get them like the success that they need in life. Like it's going to give them the gateway to better opportunities and whatever. And I do have some like there is a part of me that has conviction that yes, like that is valid, and that is definitely a component to your success, like your ability to network and your ability to build relationships. I'm not doubting that whatsoever, but only to the degree that you're seen as valuable, right? Like, and like for example, in corporate America, right? Like we see all the time, unfortunately, you know, between, again, this isn't to get political, but if you have a job position that's open and you have people competing for the job or putting in for the position, right? You could, again, have the same qualifications as, you know, a woman or a minority or someone else, right? And you may not get the job because you're a guy, right? Or whatever. Like, you know, because we have DEI, we have affirmative action. And so the thing is like with the understanding that, you know, like, that's not to say that things like there's just a super oppressive group of people in this country that are trying to keep men down and keep men from, you know, rising. But it's to say that you should understand that you might not get it as easily as someone else, right? Like a woman, right? Because a woman, she might be able to get promoted because, like, for example, like, again, this is not the case all the time, but let's say the person who's selecting the individual for the position is a guy, right? And, you know, guys are what? They're horny, right? They like beautiful women. Let's say the girl is beautiful, right? But she may not be as great as the male counterpart who's applying for the position. That woman, right? Same qualifications and everything. She may not be as good as the guy, right? Might not have great efficiency, might not have good skills with people, might not have good composure when stressful moments abound. But because she's beautiful and because, hey, you know, the guy who's selecting the individual for the position, you know, may like her, may think she's pretty. He may have a bias towards her because of her looks outside of, and not because of her performance, right? Or what she can do. So as a guy, right, like obviously, you know, I've proposed certain things that I think are better for guys. Like I think the trades are great. I think entrepreneurship is great. I think trucking is great. Anything that you can do that is that you can develop and you can have a direct result with the thing that you do, right? Like if you're driving a truck, right, it's really just you and you knowing how to drive and what experience you have, right? There are some female truckers, right? But for the most part, like obviously as a guy, like you want to be in fields or in professions or whatever that are male dominated, right? Because I think you'll have the best shot at moving up. I think you'll have the best shot at making the most amount of money, right? Because that's where you're valued, right? Like, let me ask you this. If you go to a party, right? Or let's say there's like clubs in your city, right? Like there's just nightclubs or whatever. And you go to one nightclub and you go there and the girls aren't really friendly. They're kind of just more standoffish. They don't really want to talk to you. They kind of just, you know, see you as another guy there and just don't have any high outlook on you, right? You know, you go and there's the other people are just not really friendly, right? So that's club A, right? Then you go to club B. The girls are friendly, right? They smile at you. They want to talk to you. They, you know, are open to conversation. They may exchange numbers with you. The guys there, they're cool, right? They're friendly, everything. So there's a better vibe at club B. Are you going to go to club B or club A? I think you're going to go to club B, right? Because the energy and the vibes and everybody just sees you as, just has a higher view of you than club A. So in the same regard, it's the same dynamic in a profession. Like, would you rather get in a profession that doesn't look at men as, that doesn't have a high outlook on men? Or would you rather go into fields that men are highly concentrated in, that value men's ability to produce and solve problems? I think you would want to go into a career field that aligns more with that, right? So that's the point I'm really getting at as far as your career choices. And, you know, as a young guy, like you can waste a lot of time, you know, in environments that aren't conducive to your growth, that aren't beneficial to your success and your financial, you know, just like your ability to have a financially abundant life. Like you can get lost in that if you don't know what the different career fields consist of, and you know, if there's more men, if there's more women that are in those fields. Like, so that's really my point. And I'm not saying you can't make it in corporate America. I'm not saying that you can't figure it out and you know, develop yourself and become successful. But you know, if you're finding that it's hard, or you find that you're maybe not getting the love that you feel like you deserve, right? Then maybe it's time for you to do something else, right? And that's the thing, like you have to figure it out. That's the thing. Like, so let's say you're a girl, right? Let's play the devil's advocate here. Let's say you're a girl, right? Or let's do the opposite of this. And you're trying to make it in corporate America, right? And you're having a hard time. Like you're just, you know, maybe you're doing well, like you understand your work and you're really good at delivering value and you're just a great asset to the company. That's awesome, right? But you know, maybe they don't have a high outlook on you, or they don't view you as valuable as you may think of yourself as. You can still make it in life because you can find a guy who makes a lot of money and can support you and can take care of you. But that doesn't exist when it comes to men. Like men don't have that safety net where a girl's gonna take care of them, right? They may do it for a bit, right? But under the anticipation that guy's gonna figure out his shit and get his stuff together so that he can at least be equal or rise above her as far as the financial game goes. So this is just kind of like a brutal truth that I think a lot of you guys may or may not be aware of. But the whole point of me coming on here talking to you guys right now is to figure it out, right? So, you know, maybe that means picking up a second job. Maybe that means starting up something on the side online that you may have an interest in, or maybe you're curious about. But the idea, the whole premise and big picture of the message I'm bringing you right now is you have to figure it out. And that means by default, you may have to sacrifice things that are comfortable. You may have to sacrifice the pornography. You may have to sacrifice the video games. You may have to sacrifice the drinking and the drugs, right? Or you just may have to, you may just have to miss out. Like, you know, because I know a lot of guys, you know, maybe you're young and you want to date and you want to have a girlfriend or just, you know, get laid, whatever. You may have to sacrifice going out and going to, you know, places where you might meet women. And that can be depressing, right? Because it's like, you know, you want to get laid, you feel like you're young, you feel like, you know, this is the time for you to socialize and really, you know, get your things together as far as, you know, understanding women and all of that. So it's tough, and it can be very depressing at times when you feel like you're missing out and you feel like the whole world is kind of just crushing down on you, right? Like you're trying to figure it out. It's stressful. You don't have a clear direction of like where you're going to go or what you're going to do. You might be working a lot, but, you know, nothing seems to manifest. Like nothing seems to come together as like a clear indicator of like the main thing that you're supposed to be delivering to the world. So I can totally resonate with some of you guys right now. But the biggest thing is like, realistically, I really can't see someone failing, like a young guy failing, if you like just don't let up, if you just continue to like, you know, figure it out. And obviously, you know, your ability to figure it out and develop extreme skill and talent and competency in something is going to be directly related to your ability, like I've mentioned in other YouTube videos and shorts, your ability to cut vices, right? Because let's face it, most guys are addicted to one or multiple or, you know, all of these things, right? Video games, alcohol, marijuana, pornography, junk food. So if you're able to cut, you know, pretty much all of those out, right, then that gives you an advantage because your mind's working better, your body has more vitality, you have more vigor, you have more output, and you have more clarity as far as your mind. So you can utilize your mind better to understand something, to learn something, and to just deliver it with extreme precision and extreme, just a really, you can deliver value with the expertise that you develop, right? And you can really master that, and you can really be good at it, and people will value you for that, right? So the message I really want to get across is you need to obviously understand that no one's coming to save you, right? You don't have a safety net. And simultaneously, like while you're figuring out, realize to get a competitive advantage on other guys or just, you know, whatever in the work world, you need to cut vices, right? You need to be sharp mentally and physically, right? Because if you're sharp mentally and physically, you'll be able to outwork almost anybody. You'll be able to study longer. You'll be able to, you know, you'll just be able to have more output than the average person. And that's by default. You know, if you're able to do that over a long period of time and you're able to develop mastery in whatever you're working on, then you're gold, right? Like, so if that means you're in school while you're simultaneously working a job, or you're in training for something that you're trying to learn, you're gonna need all the energy and, you know, physical vitality and mental cognition to be able to perform at a high level, right? So just understanding that is gonna be paramount. So if you're a guy and you're struggling, if you're young, you feel like, you know, maybe you're lost, or maybe you know, you just feel like the world's against you, I'm telling you it's not. But again, you have to really take ownership and, you know, take accountability for yourself, right? And that also implies with cutting vices and being just generally healthy, right? Like having a good diet, sleeping well. These things are by default give you a competitive advantage over a lot of people, right? Like a lot of guys struggle with drugs, a lot of guys don't sleep, a lot of guys are caught up with, you know, friends and family shit and girls. So if you're able to cut, you know, 99% of that out, right, then that gives you, there's nothing in your way, there's nothing holding you back, so you're able to, you know, bring the most amount of prowess into whatever you're doing. So Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to leave it down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.